Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lake Orion High School here for a boys basketball district final. Keith Dunlap, Scott Bernstein of MIPrepZone.com and the Oakland Press. It is March Madness, and we're here to see Clarkston take on Stony Creek. Somewhat of a surprising matchup. Maybe not from the perspective of Clarkston. They were, I wouldn't say, yeah, they're probably expected or one of the favorites to get here.
They thought they'd be here. We're not sure if Stony Creek thought they'd be here. Maybe Stony Creek thought they'd be there. I'm sorry. I don't know if the rest of us thought Stony Creek would be here.
Exactly. So anyway, we got Clarkston, Stony Creek. Got an OA Red matchup versus an OA Blue team. Clarkston won the OA Red. Stony Creek, middle of the pack in the OA Blue, but had an impressive win over Oxford, and definitely a Cinderella story coming in this game. Not a lot of people expect this to be a close game, but Stony Creek, maybe they can prove otherwise.
Yeah, the one thing I like for Stony Creek entering this district final, obviously they're underdogs. This is a veteran ball club that has played together now for, the majority of this group has played together now for 2 or 3 years. They have a bona fide star in Charlie Carson at a combo point guard / shooting guard spot. He's a true point, but sometimes they play him off the ball. So they got experience. That's going to bode well. And then, obviously, Steve Norgrove, one of the better tacticians in the OAA, on the sideline, making sure that the strategy is all in order for the Cougars. That bodes well for them. On the other side, Clarkston looking to break that 2-year district drought. They've been a fixture in the regionals for the last 3 decades, if not more. They haven't been there since 2011. And if you're the Clarkston faithful, you're hoping this is the year you break that drought. You don't, the third time's the charm, and they're moving on to the regionals.
Well, I don't think they'll be doing cartwheels if they win districts. They won like 16 of the previous 17, but would definitely be nice to get to regionals and to get past this step, no doubt about it. So, yeah, should be a interesting game. We'll see if it's the lopsided affair a lot of people think, or if Cinderella Stony Creek can keep things exciting.
I'm going to say Stony Creek keeps this game a game at least into the 4th quarter. You heard it first. Your man Bernie is looking out for you Cougars. Prove me right. Let's make this a tight game and make sure that Team Fife isn't moving on to the regionals by halftime. By halftime, yeah.
All right, thanks. Enjoy the game. We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys. So let's get this thing started. We're going to do a little opening lineups and the anthem. We're going to take a quick break and then be back.
After the anthem and the.
Sorry, we'll be back after the anthem and we'll break down some starting lineups. This is the MI Prep Zone Comcast Game of the Week, Clarkston Stony Creek District Finals. All right, that's the national anthem, and we are moments away from tip-off. Let's break down some starting lineups for you. First, for the Stony Creek Cougars entering this game at 15-7, making, I believe, only their 2nd appearance in a district final in their relatively short history. We got Patrick Mertz, senior forward, 6'4". He'll be on the block. Another forward, Alex Schnorr, a 6'1" small forward. Swingman Eric Gilgenbach, a junior at 6'2", number 23, and then the guards will be 6-foot junior Jack Allen, and then the piece de resistance for the Stony Creek Cougars, Charlie Carson, all league, all everything, does a little bit of everything, and is one of the, or is the top record breaker for the Stony Creek program, has broken virtually every offensive statistical record in the school history. Moving over to Clarkston, who had won 18 straight district championships before 2 years ago in this 2-year drought between 1994 and 2011. It's pretty amazing. 8 straight OAA Red championships and 11 of the last 12 in the top division of the OAA Red. At the point guard, we got junior Andrew Myers. Drew Myers, who has been playing very well in the districts, had 18 points in the district semifinal victory over Lake Orion. All-league shooting guard Nick Owens, one of the most dangerous perimeter players in the area. He's headed to Madonna. He'll start at the two-guard spot. Merritt Canada, a junior combo between a guard and a forward. Taben Throgmorton, a sophomore. 6'4" transfer from Walled Lake Northern. He's at the other forward spot. And then in the middle, 6'8" Mike Nicholson. Katie, any quick pregame notes?
Well, again, this start's going to be very key to see if this gets out of hand or if Stony Creek starts to make people into believers.
Nicholson wins the tip over to Drew Myers. Myers will work on Jack Allen. Taben Throgmorton now passes over to Nick Owens. Owens at the top of the key. Looking for Nicholson down low, feeds him a bounce pass. Nicholson into the lane, feeds it to Taben Throgmorton. Throgmorton into the lane, gets it blocked by Mertz. And Jack Allen now off and running for Stony Creek and is a little out of control. Ball's out of bounds off of Clarkston. Stony Creek will get the ball underneath their own basket.
Yeah, I thought Nicholson probably should have just went ahead and shot that with a hook or a little jumper. He passed it off, and he had what he wanted, the matchup, and he was going to his strong hand, but decided pass it off, and a little bit of a force by Throgmorton there.
Jack Allen now with the ball. They're playing him more at the point and Carson more off the ball in the second part of this season. Carson passes to Mertz. Mertz gets in there, passes off to Schnorr. Schnorr to Carson. Carson over to Gilgenbach, gives it back. And Carson now will get in the lane, try to get up a shot. Doesn't, passes it off to Gilgenbach. Mertz now looking to get in there, drives underneath the basket, can't get the layup to fall. Nicholson with the rebound.
Yeah,
nice move by Mertz, but couldn't finish.
Got to convert those. Got to, especially. Good job by being patient for
Nick Owens lets it fly from outside, can't fill it. Rebound Mertz, but it loses it to Nicholson. Now he's double teamed, looking for Taben Throgmorton, who gets in the lane. Throgmorton with the foul, but can't convert the basket. He'll shoot two. But Taben Throgmorton became eligible Martin Luther King Day in January, set out the first semester after a transfer from Walled Lake Northern. Started most of last year for Walled Lake Northern as a freshman, was one of the better ninth graders in the KLAA. His brother, who played at Walled Lake Northern with him last year, is at U of M Dearborn right now. Throgmorton hits the first point of the night, 1-0 Clarkson, 6:43 to play here, MI Prep Zone Game of the Week.
Yeah, I think Stony Creek, the last offensive possession, may have been a little preview of what they want to do. Just milk the clock, and
Throgmorton hits both.
A lot of touches, a lot of passes, and that way they can limit Clarkson's possessions, and that's one way they can hang around in this game.
Jack Allen to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach into Mertz. Mertz makes another move to the basket. Tries to get this one to finish, but can't rebound by Gilgenbach. Puts it in for the first bucket for Stony Creek, 2-2. Myers brings the ball up.
Nice hustle by Gilgenbach. Nicholson altered that shot, but Gilgenbach was there.
Throgmorton to Merritt Canada. Canada gets in the lane, nice drive, and finishes.
I really like what he brings to this team.
I do too.
Little of everything, a lot of grit, rebounding, defense, maybe a little scoring, and just kind of you're right, jack of all trades. And
pretty good football player as well, helped take Clarkson to that state title.
Got that mentality.
Charlie Carson lets it fly, can't finish. Can't hit that shot. Rebound by Owens, gives it up to Throgmorton. Throgmorton will carry, and it will be a turnover, Stony Creek basketball.
Yeah, Clarkson a little off the mark here to start.
Both these teams won 2 games to get into the district final. Stony Creek beat crosstown foe Rochester and then upset Oxford, champions of the OA Blue. Nice pass from Allen to Gilgenbach, who will now try to feed it back. Should have just shot it, but it was stolen by Owens. Owens now will try to take it to the rack and will not get it to fall. In and out, rebound by Mertz.
Well, if he would have shot it in the last possession, Mike Nicholson would have swatted it right in his own stand. That's why he hesitated and ended up passing it, and it was a good recovery by Clarkston.
Allen brings it up. Looking to find Mertz, but gets in the lane himself, feeds it back to Carson, lefty three, good. Charlie Carson from downtown, 5'4", Stony Creek. getting into the 5-minute mark here. The first quarter, 2 minutes gone by in this district final.
Penetrate and kick right
Merritt
there.
Canada gets the foul, will shoot 2. Nice up and under move.
Yeah, it's twice
he's beaten the contact.
Twice he's beaten his man off the dribble. So that could be a matchup problem for Stony Creek throughout this game.
I find it very interesting, strategy move by Norgrove over at Stony Creek. Merrick gets the first. He has moved Carson, he's been starting at point guard since his sophomore year, moved him off the ball the second half of this year and is playing him at the shooting guard spot.
Well, the way he's been playing turned into a pretty good move.
Yeah, it looks really good. I give him a lot of credit. I don't know if a lot of coaches would move or really would have been a 3-time all-league point guard and move him off the ball, but he's done it, and they're having some success in the tournament right now and second half of this year. Jack Allen, the junior, has moved into the point guard spot, and now he brings the ball up. And into the game for Stony Creek is Scott Reeder. Ball stolen by Nicholson. Clarkson coming back. Nick Owens will pull up and can't hit, but get his own rebound, pull back, get the shot back up, gets fouled, won't hit it, but will shoot 2.
Yeah.
Owens hasn't scored, but he's being very active.
Yeah, just had a couple tough luck misses. Good hustle there to get the rebound on that one. And again, good collapsing defense by Clarkson. Forces a turnover, forces an errant pass, and creates this these free throw opportunities.
And Nick Owens is pretty money, whether shooting from the free throw line or from beyond the arc. A little bit of an unorthodox shot, but has one of the quickest releases you will ever see. Hits both, and it's 8-5, 4 quick points by Clarkston. 4:30 to play here in the first quarter. Class A district final, MI Prep Zone Comcast game of the week. Gilgenbach over to Charlie Carson. Carson is getting double teamed by Clarkson. Now it's just a regular single team as Throgmorton sags back on his man. Jack Allen tries to get in the lane, pushes it out to, I can't see who that is. That's Eric Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach drains a triple from the same spot Carson just hit it from a couple moments ago.
Good sign for the Cougars. If they're hitting these outside shots, they're going to have to hit plenty of them.
We're tied at 8. Nicholson's going to drive himself and can't hit. Rebound Jack Allen.
Good defense there by Gilgenbach. Gave away some height, but bodied him up, threw him off his
Carson,
block.
Gilgenbach's going to put it up again. Can't hit it. Rebound fought for. It's going to be Clarkston basketball. Drew Myers, looks like he might have took a little bit of a Charlie horse there. Gets fouled. Foul will be on Reeder, I believe. No, Andrew Pitlock, who's come into the game for Stony Creek, gets the foul.
Yeah, I hope he can just limp that off and be okay later, because he's been very good in this district.
Did Myers just go to the bench?
He's just trying to walk it off.
A little gimpy, so Press Campy will come in, the backup point guard, son of Greg Campy, the Oakland University men's coach. Nick Owens now passes it to Taven Throgmorton, looking for Nicholson down low. Can't find him. He'll pitch it back to Merritt Canada. Out to Press Campy for a triple. Can't fill it. Rebound Throgmorton. Throgmorton takes the contact and will not convert the basket, but will get the foul. And Clarkson's doing a very good job at taking the contact. I believe this is the 4th or 5th time they've been at the line in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, another missed layup, but as you said, just outfought the Stony Creek defender for the ball and ended up drawing a foul.
Stony Creek's got to do a better job on the glass. Taven Throgmorton hits the first.
Yeah, that was of their 9 points, 7 of them at free throws so far this game.
So Press Campy will be at the point as Myers tries to walk off the Charlie horse. Not a bad option as a second point guard. Press Campy would start on a lot of teams in this county. Not necessarily a scorer, but expert pace setter. Understands the game, which you would expect from a coach's son. Gilgenbach over to Charlie Carson. Carson working the perimeter. Will drive left of the lane. Will kick it to Jack Allen. Allen will put up a 3, can't hit it. Rebound by Gilgenbach. Can't get the putback, but is fouled, and he'll shoot 2. We might be in the bonus pretty quick here.
Gilgenbach has just been fearless so far. Not only did he out-jump everyone for that rebound, he took it right at Mike Nicholson and drew a foul. So that's the first foul on Mike Nicholson. He's played a lot a lot bigger, Gilgenbach, than his height so far this game.
Gilgenbach hits the first free throw. He's one of those really, really special two-sport guys. He's also a very good baseball player.
Yep, baseball practice starts Monday. He probably would prefer to be at basketball practice Monday as opposed to baseball.
And Gilgenbach will put up the second and hit it. We are tied 10-10.
7 points in the first quarter for Gilgenbach. He's carrying his team on his back so far this game.
Stony Creek is saying we're not going to let this game get out of hand early. We're going to keep this thing as close as possible and give ourselves a chance to win this game. Press Campy drives in the lane, looking, finds Merritt Canada. Canada will drive. Now picks up his dribble over to Taven Throgmorton, left of the key. Throgmorton drives the lane and scoops and scores. A nice move by Taven Throgmorton.
Yeah, the middle is wide open there. Stony Creek keying a lot of attention on Nicholson.
And Jack Allen tries to feed reserve J.P. Sinacola, and it goes off Sinacola's hands, out of bounds, Clarkston basketball. Press Campy now bringing the ball up for Clarkston. He gives it up to Nicholson. Nicholson to Canada. Left side up to Nicholson. Great pass. Merritt Canada to Mike Nicholson. Nicholson finishes under the hoop.
Classic Clarkston basketball, back cut or back screen. Nicholson cutting to the hoop. He actually got bumped, but the pass was still delivered, and he recovered in time after being bumped. Easy layup.
Under the 2-minute mark here. 14-10 Clarkston. 3-ball by Stony Creek. Can't hit. That was Sinacola.
Yeah, they may just be living by the three and dying by the
Taven
three.
Throgmorton to the rack. Can't get it to fall, but it's out of bounds off a Stony Creek player. Clarkston basketball underneath their own basket. And Fife's going to keep Press Campy in the game as his point guard.
Yeah, Myers is still probably trying to walk off. Oh, he's on the bench now. Maybe he's walked it off.
Press now gets it to Merritt Canada. Canada to Press Campy. Campy feeds it to Taven Throgmorton, who's going to put up a deep three. Can't hit it. Rebound Mike Nicholson. Takes some contact. It's going to be on the floor, so Clarkston will be getting the ball underneath their own basket again.
Yeah, he's already been a big problem for Stony Creek. Just 6'8", just reaches over everybody.
So Nicholson will be taking the ball out. Mertz comes to the sideline for Stony Creek. Owens to Press Campy. Campy getting some tight defense there. Nicholson in the lane and hits it. Nice touch.
Too easy right
Nicholson.
there. Just isolating one-on-one. The double came late, and that's just all day right there if you can get it for Clarkston.
Charlie Carson to the rack. Gets it to fall. Nice drive by Charlie Carson.
That was impressive. He's going right at Nicholson, lofted it over his outstretched arms. I thought he was going to get blocked.
Mike Nicholson. Nicholson at the top of the key. He's going to try to take it himself. Off the glass, won't fill it. Campy tries to save it to a Stony Creek ball player. And it's Charlie Carson will take the ball up now. Don't know what to call him. Do you call him a point guard? Do you call him a two guard? He's, I guess, the combo guard right now.
Yeah, combo, that'd be the best.
And Carson now with the ball. He'll pull up a three, short, rebound on the ground. Everyone's going for it, and there's a timeout taken by Clarkston. It looks like they'll keep possession, or they'll take possession, up 16-12, 42 seconds to play here in the first quarter. High pace open to this game. We got 28 points already.
Yeah, Stony Creek, they may be trying to live and die by the three-pointer throughout this entire game. Kind of a dribble drive and penetrate kick, whatever you want to call it. Already have hit a couple threes and launched a few more where Clarkston's pretty much been attacking the basket. Whether it's been drives with Throgmorton, getting the line with Throgmorton. Nicholson kind of going to their strength inside. Nick Owens hasn't gotten loose from any shots on the outside, only one three-point attempt.
I think they're face guarding Owens the same way they did Connor Elzerman and Dell Alexander, the two top players on Oxford, and just having the other guys sag back instead of running a traditional box and one or triangle and two. But if other guys are going to be hurting you like Throgmorton and Nicholson, Canada, then it might be just par for the course. Nicholson will drive. Nice spin move by Mike Nicholson, but he can't get it to fall. Everything but the bucket.
Yeah,
Now that is a college recruiter's dream right there. 6'8" and super savvy on the block, even though he couldn't fill it. It was a very nice move by Mike Nicholson.
Yeah, it helps when there's really no resistance in the middle there. Stony Creek battling, but just doesn't.
They don't have a true. They don't have a true post.
They don't have a true post.
Mertz is about all they got, and he's battling foul trouble right now.
Stony Creek should hold for one shot here. Looks like they are.
16 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Stony Creek's down 4, trying to cut it into this lead to go into the huddle after the quarter. 7 seconds to play. Carson with the ball. There's a clear out for Charlie Carson, who's going to put up a fall away and hit it. And it will be 16-14. Clarkston leads, but Stony Creek gets some nice momentum on a buzzer beater by Charlie Carson on the pull-up jumper from about 18. 16-14, MI Prep Zone, Comcast Game of the Week. District Finals here at Lake Orion. Clarkston leads Stony Creek by 2. KD, what do you think after this first quarter?
My fault. Here's a replay here of this last shot by Carson.
I don't even know if that was what he's intending to do.
We create a little separation here, see a little push off, but still a tough fall-away jumper. And Stony Creek, this is exactly what you want, just to hang around. And very successful first quarter, I would say, for Stony Creek, and quite a confidence boost.
Did you know your Xfinity service comes with features that are free, great, and easy? Like self-service. It's all the tools you need to manage your account and services whenever you want. Just go to Comcast.com, click My Account, and sign in. You can view your statements and pay bills. Even manage service appointments and check the status of your service on your phone. Plus, with easy-to-use search, you can find answers to your questions. Self-service. Another great feature included with your service. Visit us at Comcast.com/learn. You don't have to be at home to know everything's safe. With Xfinity Home, you can arm your security system if you forget. See that your kids got home safely. And make sure you never have to come home to a dark house. All from anywhere. Plus, get 24/7 professional monitoring so you know your home, family, and valuables are always safe and sound. Add Xfinity Home for only $29.95 a month. And if you already have a security system, we'll use your current equipment, so it's easy to switch and save money. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
16-14, I agree, Keith. I think the biggest key to this game, and you pointed it out multiple times before this game tipped, was how this game started. If Stony Creek could keep pace, get their confidence boosted, and you know, for a upset-minded club, for an underdog or a dark horse, the further into the game you play close, the better chance you have to pull the surprise, get that favorite team kind of thinking, worrying about themselves, and you're playing loose. So hopefully Stony Creek,
nothing to lose at all.
If you're Stony Creek right now, that's best case scenario right now.
And they're hitting out some tough outside shots.
Jack Allen now. Stony Creek gets the ball to start the second quarter. Allen drives, kicks to Carson. Carson will try to get in the lane. Will push it back out to Sinicola for a 3. J.P. Sinicola, the sophomore off the bench.
Another tough perimeter. They're hitting these perimeter shots. They're really going to be hard to shake.
Nice move by Carson to kick that out. Nick Owens now will force it, won't hit it, but rebound by Press Campy. The little guy with the big board. Taben Throgmorton picks up his dribble, gives it to Merritt Canada. Canada gets in the lane. He'll try to put up a shot, and he'll hit it.
Yeah, he's very strong. He can get in that lane right now at will.
Yeah, he's a chiseled frame for a 16-year-old. Charlie Carson now kicks it to Allen, to Mertz, who will take it to the rack, will not get the call, cannot hit the shot.
Yeah, Nicholson altered that shot.
Taben Throgmorton to Nick Owens. Can't get a handle, ball's out of bounds, but it's off a Stony Creek ball player. Clarkson ball on the sideline.
Andrew Myers checking back in. 18-17 Clarkston here. 6:59 left in the first half. This is exactly what you want so far if you're Stony Creek. This is how you want to script these first 9 minutes of the game.
So some good student crowds out to cheer in this game. The Clarkston group are out in their fatigues, and the Stony Creek are in a blackout. So some good student support here. Press Myers is back in for Press Myers. Drew Myers back in for Press Campy. Myers will drive, seal, and then get the shot up. Won't make it, but gets the foul.
I think he really tried to draw the foul more than he tried to make a shot. He had an open layup there and just
kind of stopped.
Was hoping to try and just get an and one, and he did get the foul call, but just couldn't connect on the shot.
So Drew Myers, the junior, will shoot 2 free throws. His team up 1, 6:45 to play in the second quarter. He will not hit on the first one, in and out. So if you're Clarkson and someone would have told you that this game would be up minute and a half into the second quarter, Nick Owens, I don't believe would have scored yet.
2 free throws.
2 free throws.
He hasn't hit a field goal though.
Looks good for if you're a Clarkson fan. Myers hits the second, so it's 19-17 Clarkson leads. Jack Allen for Stony Creek will bring the ball up. Junior point guard over to Charlie Carson. Carson will now take in the lane, will go for a pull-up and hit it.
Wow, tough shot.
Charlie Carson. I said at the beginning of the game, when you have a star like Charlie Carson, you're going to keep yourself in the game.
He's delivered so far.
And a travel there by
Dayton
Clarkson
Wallace.
reserve Dayton Wallace.
Dayton Wallace is someone who's really stepped up his game the last two games in this district. He's played very well.
He's a junior. So we're at tie ball game now, 19-19, coming into the 2-minute mark into the second quarter, 6:10 to play in the first half. MI Prep Zone Comcast Game of the Week. It's March Madness here at Lake Orion High School. And
3-ball.
3-ball by Stony Creek. That was Jack Allen. Couldn't hit it, but there's going to be a foul on the floor against Clarkston, against Gilgenbach. Myers takes the call. Gilgenbach will go to the line.
Yeah, just hustling in there, rebounding, and just very gritty effort by Gilgenbach so far.
So the Clarkston student section giving it to Gilgenbach. It hasn't bothered him so far. It isn't going to bother him on that free throw. He hits it.
Yeah, him and Carson have been the story of this first half for Stony Creek. All but 3 of their points so far.
And then you get the leadership factor that Carson brings as well. You know, when you have a 3-year starter that does so much and understands the game as well as plays it so well. Gilgenbach hits the second.
21-19, Stony Creek, or is it 19-19? Yeah,
21-19, Stony Creek leads. MI Prep Zone, Comcast, CN 900 Game of the Week. You can watch this game the next couple weeks on CN 900 on your Comcast. Drew Myers drives, can't hit it, but they get the rebound, Clarkston. Myers now. There's a nice tip by Nicholson. Wallace gets the ball underneath and can't handle it. Now he gets it back and can't score it. Nicholson with the offensive putback, and he puts it in finally on a very aggressive sequence by the Wolfpack.
Well, they're missing a lot of layups so far. Clarkson.
Myers gave a nice pass to Charlie Carson again from 3 range. Can't hit it. Nicholson with the rebound. Gives it up to Myers. Myers, nice bounce pass to Wallace. Gets the foul but cannot hit the shot. That was a little Magic Johnson special by Drew Myers. Full court bounce pass. Might have just missed him by a half step.
Yeah, it came off a forced shot, and I think Steve Norgrove right now talking with his star, not yelling at him, just sort of having a little discussion at the moment, saying, hey, we want to run some offense. We don't want to just jack one up there once we bring the ball up past the half-court line.
30-second timeout for Stony Creek.
Norgrove, timeout, just a little bit of a discussion with his star player there. Say, hey, we can get that shot
we can get a better shot. We can get a better shot.
We can get that shot at any point. Let's work it. Yeah, work the ball. Let's kill some clock, get a better shot, make them play defense.
And that last sequence for Clarkson, though, kind of shows you that they've been able to dominate the glass. 3 offensive rebounds. Finally, Nicholson put it back.
5 rebounds already for Nicholson. Still have 5-11 left here in the first half.
I'll tell you, whoever snags him for their team next year, it's probably going to be a D2 squad, but it's going to be a great grab. And that's
Dayton Wallace. You can't buy one right now. It's 2 layups pop in and out and a free throw pop in and out.
Wallace will hit the second. Clarkson now will go up by a point, 22-21. And into the game now is Logan Arnold for Stony Creek. He's at the point now. And Gilgenbach at the top of the key will give it up to Carson, the southpaw, directing traffic. Carson now He's going to look to pull up, but instead he'll pass it to Mertz. Mertz to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach from long range. Can't fill it. Rebound, Nicholson. He's just going to take it up himself.
You can do that. You can handle the ball.
And Dayton Wallace now to Drew Myers. Myers will get in the lane, pull up, and can't hit the shot. Rebound by number 15 for Clarkston.
Drew Swanson. He's another guy who stepped up this in the district here.
Swanson, we haven't called that name yet tonight, but on Wednesday, he was what they used to call in SportsCenter en fuego, on fire, hit 4 3 balls, and was a big difference maker in that Lake Orion victory over Lake Orion. So Swanson will hit the first. Drew Swanson is a senior. Could not pick a better time to come on strong at the end of his senior year.
Yeah, it's Swanson. He asked him about, he played very well on Monday against Adams, and asked Dan Fife about him after the game. I'm like, hey, where are these role players? Where have they been all year? And he pointed out Swanson, saying, boy, he had a really good, him and Dayton Wallace, they actually talking about both of them. Saying they both just practiced very well the last couple weeks and gave him a shot in the games. And
you earn your minutes in practice, isn't that
delivered.
the old adage?
Yep.
Jack Allen drives, kicks to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach will go baseline. Almost lost it, got it back, can't hit it, but gets his own rebound. Ball's knocked out of bounds off a Clarkston player. Clarkston's up 24-21, 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Stony Creek is sticking close, giving themselves a puncher's chance.
Yep, hitting enough outside shots to stay in it.
And Carson will kick. That is to Reeder, I believe. A push on foul against Clarkston. Reeder and Pitlock were the ones in that sequence for Stony Creek. And taking the ball out of bounds will be Reeder. Reeder gives it out to Allen. That's the starting cornerbacks for the Stony Creek football team, Reeder and Allen. Allen to Reeder. Reeder will swing it. Pitlock to Carson. Carson looking to do some damage. Will kick it before he gets fouled, though. Is looking to kick it to Pitlock.
Yeah, it looks like Clarkson, it's our 16th foul, so they're going to be, Stony Creek will be in the 1-1 the next foul here.
Carson will be inbounding it.
Stony Creek already with 19 fouls.
Can't find anyone. Now he finds Gilgenbach, who will kick it back to Allen. Jack Allen now directing traffic. Pass it to Carson. Carson lets it fly, can't hit it. There's a foul on the rebound. It's against Stony Creek.
Yeah, over the back. I think it's on Gilgenbach. Jumping, going for the rebound, and I think he went over the back of Drew Myers. So this will be a free throws at the other end, 2 free throws actually. So that's the costly part about that foul and being in the bonus. I mean, a foul on the other end of the court. Now you give 2 free throws to the Wolves.
So Drew Myers will head to the line for Clarkston to try to balloon this lead from 3 to 5. 3:21 to play. MI Prep Zone Comcast game of the week. He misses the front end.
That's a 2-shot foul.
2-shot foul.
They're in the double bonus.
They're in the double bonus, so Drew Myers now will split a pair as last time there. Looking to split this. Myers will split it. 25-21, 3:20 to play. Clarkson opens up a 2-possession lead. Jack Allen over to Charlie Carson, who's cooled off a little bit. Pitlock over to Reeder. Ball's loose. And another foul against Clarkston. Stony Creek will go to the line.
Yeah, it's just a shame for Clarkson. They got a foul. They're just hustling, diving for a loose ball, but
it's what you want to see if you're
so
Dan Fife.
Yeah. Sometimes goes against you. This should be 1-1 for Stony Creek now.
You know, I know Dan Fife a little bit. I don't know him incredibly well. I know him pretty well. I would say this is a guy that doesn't take very well to not win in a district for 2 years. He wants his players to do everything and anything they can to grab this district trophy and break that 2-year drought. And he loves what he sees from his team when they're getting on the floor like that. Jack Allen now will drive the lane, kick it to Sinicola. Can't hit it, rebound Newblatt, but it's stolen by Jack Allen. Allen tries to force the shot up and will hit it off the glass. Stole the ball from Newblatt and then scored on Newblatt.
Yeah, Newblatt, nobody communicated that Allen was behind him, and nice
Drew
tough
Myers
shot over.
will try to get in the lane, and then, it could have been an offensive call, but it was a blocking foul on Gilgenbach. One of those border calls, but
I don't know about that. That looked like Gilgenbach was set. And that's a tough call because I think it's his second foul. So that's tough right there. Myers was tripped. Looked like if there was a foul, it would have been a trip before he got to that point.
And Myers hits the first. Crowd has started to filter in. Got a decent crowd out here right now. And they've gotten their money's worth. We got ourselves a very good game. I think a lot of people thought this game might be over with by halftime. But Steve Norgrove and his troops are having a little something to say about that. Myers hits the second. 27-23. 2:25 to play. MI Prep Zone Comcast Game of the Week. You can see this game replayed over the next couple weeks on CN 900 on Comcast. You can watch it on miprepzone.com/Oakland as soon as this game's over. Charlie Carson now to Jack Allen. They're slowing it down a little bit. Stony Creek wants to be a little more methodical right now. Jack Allen to Charlie Carson. Carson can't give him that much room, but he's short.
We had an open three. Surprised he
I know, he pulled up.
Pull it down. He took it more difficult too.
Drew Myers just steps out of bounds on the fast break.
Yeah, it's too bad Clarkston had numbers on the other end. Just didn't corral the ball, and a little bit of an errant pass up, a little bit of an errant outlet pass by Nick Owens that time. Led him a little too much, and on the pass, or on the money pass right there, and they got a 4-on-2 going the other way.
Minute 40 to play. Jack Allen with the ball for Stony Creek. Gives it up to Charlie Carson at the top of the key. Carson getting some pressure from Alex Trim. No, excuse me, Josh Bonzine.
Stony Creek very patient. Been working on the perimeter and just taking a lot of time in their possessions the whole game. So far it's worked. It's allowed them to stay in it.
And they're getting killed on the glass. The fact that they're up only down 4 is a pretty good statement.
Now they're hitting threes, and Clarkston's missing some layups.
And Reeder almost lost it. There's going to be a timeout for Norgrove and his Stony Creek club. It's going to be a 30-minute to play here in the first half. MI Prep Zone Comcast Game of the Week. March Madness District Championship here at Lake Orion is on the line. The Clarkston Wolfpack, the perennial state tournament juggernaut, versus the up-and-coming Stony Creek Cougars under Steve Norgrove, that's trying to take a couple lessons from Clarkston and learn what it means to be a state tournament juggernaut. So as we kind of expected, end of the first quarter over in Bloomfield Hills, it's 27-4.
Yeah,
Bloomfield Hills leads Harrison.
Yeah, and the winner of this district would go into the regional in Southfield Lathrop, and Bloomfield Hills would be in that regional as well. Although the winner of this game would have to win on Monday to get a shot at Bloomfield Hills on Wednesday.
2 minutes to go in the St. Mary's Walled Lake Western District Final over at West Bloomfield, and it's 16-11 St. Mary's.
2 minutes to play in the game or the first quarter?
First half, sorry.
First half.
Just like we are right here.
Close.
Under a minute to play. Jack Allen.
So they're just going to hold for the last shot, and Clarkston says that's fine.
Stony Creek might be content keeping this possession, as Keith said, and just hold it down, drain that clock, go in the locker room either down 2 or possibly 1, or down 4 if they don't score. 27-23, clock dips under 30. Jack Allen getting guarded by Nick Owens. Under 20 now. We got 15 seconds. Jack Allen Nick Owens squaring off at the top of the key. We're at 10. He's going to go in a second. Jack Allen drives. Jack Allen puts the shot up but can't hit it, but he'll get the foul and he'll shoot 2. Draws the contact, 5.8 seconds to go in the first half.
Big foul. Not only is he going to get free throws for Stony Creek here and a chance to cut 2 at halftime, second foul on Mike Nicholson.
2 fouls on the big guy for Clarkston. That is a very important sequence for Stony Creek.
Yeah, Mike.
Especially if he can hit these free throws. Hits the first. So Clarkson will have 6 seconds to get a shot up, 5.8 exactly. Jack Allen will shoot the second, made his first. Junior point guard for the Cougars. Allen gets it. Drew Myers dribbles up the floor. Myers is going to put it up himself, it looks like, and can't hit it. 27-25 at the half. MI Prep Zone, Comcast. Game of the week, district finals here at Lake Orion. The Clarkson Wolfpack 27, the Stony Creek Cougars 25. A much better game than we expected.
Yep,
and
it is.
Buckle up, folks, as we're going to have a pretty good second half if the first half is any indication.
Dinner. Well, enjoy, everyone.
Honey, there's a glare.
This is one of the most explosive offenses.
Your home for the most live sports. Xfinity.
Passes off to Throgmorton, gets in the lane. Throgmorton gets a block, but gets his own rebound. Again, Story on the glass. Nick Owens for 3, hits it.
Not a good start to the first half, but granted he's off the screen off an offensive rebound.
I noticed that Patrick Mertz is on the bench as well. He's their best big fella and has been limited this game, minutes-wise, for foul trouble. Carson will get in real trouble, but gets it started. Nick Owens with the steal. Looked like he could have got that off, but he didn't. Owens steals it to Drew Myers. Myers to Owens. He's going to get up another 3, but he can't hit it. Rebound, Sinacola. And Jack Allen now will take the ball up for Stony Creek, down 5, 30-25. First minute gone here in the second half. So Schnorr now off to Charlie Carson. Carson with the carry, turnover, Clarkston basket.
It's weird how you just all of a sudden see that ball.
He nailed Myers with one in the first half. Drew Myers now for Clarkston. Gives it to Merritt Canada. Canada gets in the lane and gets the foul. Merritt Canada,
he's been really hard to get out of the lane. He's had a lot of penetration.
And just like Nick Owens has a brother that was once a Clarkston Wolf hoopster as well. Danny Owens, and Nick Owens puts up a J, can't hit it. Rebound, Drew Myers.
Another offensive rebound for Clarkston.
And Merritt Canada's brother was Chris Canada. Taven Throgmorton into the lane, scoops it, can't hit it. Ball's out of bounds on Clarkson. It will be Stony Creek basketball.
Nice drive by Throgmorton. Problem was he had Mike Nicholson wide open there if he just dumped the ball off. Bounce pass. I think Dan Fife is telling him right now to Mr. Throgmorton, he's open, referring to Nicholson. All it was a bounce pass or even a lob. That would have been a layup or a dunk for
and they can't handle him. They can't handle him in there.
So a real poor decision that time by
Jack
Throgmorton.
Allen gives it to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach will kick it to Sinicola. Sinicola from downtown hits it. That's his second. J.P. Sinicola, the sophomore off the bench with 2 threes.
Kick and drop, penetrate and kick right there.
Driving kick. Drew Myers now. Bounce pass to Nick Owens. Tries to answer. Can't hit it. Rebound off of Merritt, Canada. Stony Creek basketball.
It looked like that ball was clearly off the Stony Creek player.
I thought that too.
But Canada maybe fouled him, so the official said, did one of those compromises. We won't call the foul, but we'll give Stony Creek the ball.
So Jack Allen now dribbles the ball up for Stony Creek. They're looking to either tie this thing up or possibly take a 1-point lead. Eric Gilgenbach now. Gilgenbach will drive, swing it to Jack Allen, back to Gilgenbach, looking for Mertz down low, but it's stolen by Throgmorton. Throgmorton up to Nick Owens. Nick Owens going to take it, blocked. Nice play by Charlie Carson, and he got fouled. It could have traveled, could have been a foul, but they call foul.
Referee ruled a push, and that's on Nicholson,
That's
too.
on Nicholson. That's a 3 spot on Mike Nicholson.
Looked to me like...
I thought it was a travel.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a travel, and or at the... Carson had his arm hooked around Nicholson. Nicholson had his arm straight up in the air.
Jack
Somehow
Allen,
that resulted in a push.
To Carson. Carson gives it back to Jack Allen. Allen's getting D'd by Merrick. Canada, very difficult. And the ball's into Mertz. Mertz is having a lot of trouble tonight. Loses it again. That's 2 straight turnovers by Patrick Mertz. Taven Throgmorton to the rack. And the foul. Hoop, foul, and upcoming free throw.
That's what happens with those turnovers, transition opportunities. Clarkston hasn't had many of them tonight, but cashing on that one. Stony Creek didn't get back. Kind of a reach-in foul there, and Throgmorton took advantage. An easy and one there.
Stony Creek didn't even get a look at the basket the last 2 times. Mertz tossed one away and then couldn't handle a ball in the post, which led to Throgmorton's breakout and potential 3-point play.
It's tough, though, when you got Nicholson in there. There's not a whole lot you can do.
Taven Throgmorton hits it, and it's a 5-point game. Clarkston 33, Lake Orion 28. MI Prep Zone Comcast Game of the Week. District Championship, March Madness, Stony Creek versus the Clarkston Wolfpack.
Nicholson out of the game now after the 3rd foul, so let's mark this down. Less than 5 minutes left, and Clarkston up 5. We'll see what happens up until the point he returns.
Another turnover. You got to take better care of the basketball if you're Stony Creek.
Yeah, they did in the first half. Starting to get a little lazy, these
Drew
passes.
Myers and Fife wants to call a time. Dan Fife calls a timeout. Wants to discuss it. So 33-28. Doesn't seem like a big cushion, but in this game, Clarkson has not been on top by much more. I believe 5 points might be the biggest spread between these 2 squads right now through the first 2.5 quarters. So 4:22 to play. Clarkson's on top 33-28. This was a 30-second timeout by Dan Fife.
Yeah, maybe he recognized that and said, hey, let's maybe try and get a little separation. Let's call a timeout. And let's really focus on getting a good out-of-bounds play here.
I believe Fife is the longest tenured coach we have on the basketball floor in Oakland County. He's been coaching this Clarkson boys team, I believe, since '83.
I thought it was maybe 80 or 81, but
I thought it was 81 too, and I checked recently, and I don't believe he took over until 82 or 83. My coach, Ernie Righetti's been at Roper since '83, but was only the girls' coach for his first couple years. Frank Orlando's been with the girls at Country Day since the early '80s as well. Taven Throgmorton to Drew Myers. Myers, that's Swanson. Can't hit it. Clarkson or Lake Orion with the rebound.
Looked like a bailout call that time. Carson got up in the air and nowhere to go, but the official bailed him out and ruled a push.
So fouls against Merritt, Canada. Carson inbounds, looks for Gilgenbach, will pull up and hit. Long two for Eric Gilgenbach from the left elbow. 33-30, Clarkson on top. Drew Myers to Merritt Canada. Canada looks to shoot it but won't, gives it to Myers instead.
No, they don't have Nicholson in there to rely on.
Myers will put up a shot. That could have been a travel as well. They let it go.
I thought that was a travel, but Clarkson will take it.
35-30, nice move by Drew Myers. Jack Allen working. Takes the screen by Schnurr. Allen now working on the left elbow. Gets in the lane, kicks it to Carson. Carson to Gilgenbach, thought about it. Instead, he'll take it to the lane and kick it back to Carson. Carson gets in the lane again, pull up, can't hit it. He's been cold lately. And ball's out of bounds on Drew Myers, Stony Creek basketball.
Yeah, you got Nick Owens on Carson right now. Nick Owens is really working on defense to try and limit opportunities.
So it will be Stony Creek basketball underneath their own basket. Carson started off very hot and they slowed down a little bit. Mertz, their second leading scorer, I don't believe has scored yet tonight.
Yeah, tried to hit it, someone in a back cut, knocked out of bounds by Clarkston.
So that's Reeder into Mertz. Mertz gets in the lane and scores.
There's a good aggressive move by Mertz. Maybe get him going a bit.
And nice pass by Drew Myers to Taven Throgmorton for the easy deuce.
Yeah, Stony Creek just kind of fell asleep there, lost Throgmorton. Just kind of backdoored somebody. And
so Jack Allen now directing traffic on the right wing. Reeder looking, can't find anyone. And it looks like it could be a 5-second call, and there is instead a timeout by Stony Creek. 37-32, 2:10 to go here in the third quarter. Clarkson by 5. It's been their biggest lead of the night so far. They've held it a couple times, but Stony Creek keeps on coming and will not go down silently.
They're hanging in there without a doubt. Done a very good job so far.
Every time you think Clarkson's about to push away, Stony Creek comes up with a big bucket. So Dan Fife talking to the troops. Steve Norgrove talking to the troops. Norgrove came over to Stony Creek, I believe 3 or 4 years ago from Farmington, and took over this team from Ken Belote, I believe.
Yeah, Ken Belote when he retired, legendary. Yeah, I can use that term. He did a great job at Adams in the 90s.
When I was in high school, he was at Adams. He was at Adams, and then helped open the Stony Creek basketball program.
But
had some pretty good teams.
Steve Norgrove had quite the life when he was the head coach at Farmington, because he teaches in Fraser, lives in Rochester, and go drive over to coach in Farmington. But so I think this taking the job at Stony Creek to help the
Gilgenbach to Mertz. Mertz to Carson. Carson. And we'll get a touch foul against Merritt Canada, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like a good call that time. Carson kind of turned the quarter, got bumped.
So Gilgenbach will inbound for Stony Creek. Gives it to Mertz, the big guy. Mertz, turnaround, can't hit it, rebound. Jonah Newblatt, who's holding things down in the post for Clarkson, and Andrew Myers will put up a shot and can't hit it. Nice play by Newblatt to tie that up, but the ball will be going back to Stony Creek. I call Jonah Newblatt splat, because that's the sound it makes when he makes contact with someone.
Yeah, he's a good backup center to Nicholson, that's for sure.
I stole that from a fraternity member of mine whose last name was Newblatt, and we called splat for the same reason.
Tell you, Charlie Carson, people know this, they do around Stony Creek, of course, but he's the son of former Red Wing great Jimmy Carson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
NHL great.
Yeah,
he was in the stands. He's in the front row, Jimmy Carson.
Patrick Mertz can't hit. Rebound, Newblatt.
Good move, just tough he couldn't finish the job, but a very good
Jimmy Carson, a nice trivia question there was,
yeah, he's Charlie.
Was on the other side of that big trade when we traded Peter Klima, I believe, in the late 80s, early 90s. And a bit of a wild shot by Nick Owens, but he gets the foul, and then he says something to Scotty Reeder.
Yeah, I don't know. very late foul call right there. The ball was already rebounded and the whistle was blown.
I thought I knew.
Not sure
I thought I
about
knew
that.
everyone's backstory, KD. And you're telling me I didn't know that? You learned.
I thought
That's
you
why.
did.
That's why I run with KD here, man. He keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, Jimmy Carson. He's there in the front row on the other side of the great NHL player.
Owens hits the first. Nick Owens will hit the second. So biggest lead of the game for Clarkson. It's a 7-point game, 39-32, minute 10 to play. Stony Creek needs some offense. Jack Allen gives it to Carson. Carson started off very toasty, looking to refine that groove. Carson will pull up and can't hit the shot, wanted the foul, won't get it. Merritt Canada with the rebound. Pass it to Newblatt. Newblatt now gets it stolen, but it's off a Stony Creek ball player, and Clarkson will retain possession.
Yeah, look for Clarkson to hold off to one shot there. A little better defensive job this quarter on Carson, getting his face a little bit more, forcing him to take some tougher shots in traffic.
Mertz will go to the bench.
Big possession here. Clarkson holds it for the last one and scores.
Mertz is the all-time leader in field goal percentage for Stony Creek.
So far in the 4 minutes without Mike Nicholson, Clarkson has increased its lead by 2. So this is been a big period in this ball game.
Merritt Canada now will drive. Nice drive by Canada. Can't finish it though. Newblatt with the rebound. Gets fouled, and that's the story of the game. Second shots, third shot opportunities for Clarkston, just killing Stony Creek, and Jonah Newblatt got the board and got the foul going back up.
Yeah, surprised he didn't hold for the last shot, but then again, there was an open lane there for Canada, and he just took it.
Newblatt short. Coming into the game will be Dayton Wallace, I believe. Dayton Wallace, right?
20, yeah.
24, Dayton Wallace for Clarkston, replacing Taven Throgmorton. And Newblatt will miss both. Rebound Carson. Foul.
Yeah, they called a foul on Canada
Foul
there.
on Canada. So the Cougars now will have a chance to hold for last shot down 7. They desperately need some momentum here to end the quarter and keep their district title hopes alive. Jack Allen has done a very, very respectable job at the point tonight. Gives it to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach turns. Gilgenbach swings. Jack Allen, 6 seconds. Charlie Carson, 4. Carson's going to pull up a wild shot and get fouled.
Yeah,
A bit of a bailout. It might be shooting 3.
Just pump fake in the air, got his man, and just kind of lean into him.
That's kind of the
Looks like they're saying it's a 2-point attempt.
Charlie Carson special, that little pump fake that he does. Not many better at it in Oakland County. Charlie Carson, the southpaw, will go to the line with 2.5 to play. These are some big free throws. And misses the first.
First missed free throw of the game for Stony Creek.
So Carson now tries to get this lead.
There's some news tonight. Detroit Cass Tech has knocked off #1 ranked Detroit Pershing in district. So Pershing #1 is out.
A nice win by Cass Tech. Both misses. Newblatt with the rebound, and that's going to be it for the quarter. Stony Creek could not take advantage of that last possession where they could have gotten 2. They go away with nothing, and it's 39-32. Clarkson up 7 heading into the fourth quarter. MI Prep Zone Comcast game of the week. It's March Madness here at the Dragon Den of Lake Orion.
Dinner. Well, enjoy, everyone.
Honey, there's a glare.
This is one of the most explosive offenses.
Your home for the most live sports. Xfinity.
Stony Creek student section trying to fire their boys up here going into the fourth quarter.
Fife giving some last-minute instructions. He wants to be raising that district title trophy again that he did for those 18 straight years, and that is a remarkable number. I mean, there are teams that go 20 years, 10 years, 15 years between districts that struggle for decades to try to win a district. Fife reeled off 18 straight. Unbelievable. Between his son Dugan graduated in 92. 93 was a bit of a down year, but from 94 to 2011, they were a staple in the regionals. And that 09 team got to the Final Four. Very special time for the Clarkston Wolves. Nice pass. Drew Myers tries to get it in to Drew Swanson, but it's knocked away by a Stony Creek player.
Yeah, good idea, but good late recovery by the Stony Creek defender.
Swanson inbounds to Nicholson. Offensive foul. Nicholson is tagged with the offensive foul against Gilgenbach.
That's his fourth.
4 for Nicholson.
That looked like a block, but then again, Gilgenbach, I thought earlier in the game, drew a charge. They called the block, so maybe that evened out a little bit there.
Newblatt will come in, and Norgrove will counter with Mertz, their best big guy, who's also been battling foul trouble tonight. And Charlie Carson's going to go to the rack and get the offensive foul
Dayton
called
Wallace
against him.
Yeah, Dayton Wallace, good job coming over. That was an easy call right there. He was easily set.
So offensive fouls have been traded. Clarkston basketball. Drew Myers gives it off to Swanson. Swanson to Newblatt. Newblatt over to Wallace. Wallace to Nick Owens. Will pop a 3 and hit it.
They've been working for that a lot all game right there, and finally hit it, and that gets them their first double-digit lead of the game.
And Nick the Quick with that super fast release swishes his second 3-ball of the game. And as Katie just mentioned, the Wolves go into a double-digit lead for the first time tonight with 7:11 to play in the game. Going to the line to shoot. The bonus is, I believe, J.P. Sinacola. And he can't hit.
Oh, big free throw Stony Creek's missing now.
And Drew Myers now with the ball for Clarkston.
Breaks your heart. They work so hard to stay in this game,
I
and
know.
then just can't hit free throws.
Newblatt over to Swanson. Swanson to Nick Owens. He wants to get another one off. Almost can't hit it, but who's on the glass? Drew Swanson.
Offensive rebounding again.
Swanson's going to put it up, and he's going to hit it. Drew Swanson hit some big threes in the semis and just hit one backbreaker of a triple with 6:48 to play here in the fourth quarter off his own offensive rebound. Those are the kind of productions you need from the role players to win trophies.
He, yeah, I didn't see much from him in the regular season.
I didn't either.
Dan Fife said he practiced very well going into the playoffs and made a big contribution in the game against Adams on Monday. Here's a replay here. Myers, Newblatt there, they swing it around. Here's Swanson. Now they get Owens. Now this is a 2.
Look at Swanson
in
to sneak in there.
Offensive rebound is just
between 3 guys, dribbles out, gets an open
Creek.
look, and he's like, hey, you're going to give it to me, I'm going to pop it.
Yeah. He hit a couple the other night. He shows he can hit those.
Hit 4 in the semis, and I don't know if there's been a bigger shot tonight than that offensive rebound and triple to push that 10-point lead to a 13-point lead. 6:45 to go, and Stony Creek is on the ropes. Swanson's triple was a brutal haymaker, and now Clarkston's going to look to finish the job and put Stony Creek on the canvas in these next couple minutes. Charlie Carson needs to get going if this Stony Creek team is going to make a final comeback. Was so brilliant in the first half. Carson will feed it to Allen. Allen gives it inside to Gilgenbach. Gilgenbach to Mertz, and Mertz travels. Just not a great night for Patrick Mertz. He's been battling foul trouble, some turnover issues, and just is being bothered by some of that Clarkston defense, especially in the post, which we've been commenting all game, how Clarkston's post game is just really playing very well. And it's a foul now against Wallace on Clarkston, so Stony Creek will get the ball back.
These officials are really starting to make their presence felt. They just I guess, seem to feel they need to be a factor in this game in every possession.
So Charlie Carson now will dribble the ball up, and if Stony Creek wants to make a run here, they got to start scoring points because they have very few here in the second half. Carson for three.
Needs it. No.
Can't hit it. Rebound, Jonah Newblad, who's played very well in place of Mike Nicholson. And Myers almost throws it away. Owens recovers. Myers into the lane. Gets the foul. Might have been a bailout, but he'll take it.
That was the definition of a bailout.
He'll take it.
Went in there out of control, threw up a wild hook shot behind his head, and on the last second, official said he was pushed.
Drew Myers is one of those prototypical point guards, can occasionally be a little bit out of control, but has gotten, I think, that problem under wraps a little bit more this year than he had last. Sometimes you just got to take the play that's given to you as opposed to trying to make a crazy one. Three for Clarkston. That is Dayton Wallace, another big three off the bench for the Clarkston Wolves.
All this with Mike Nicholson pretty much on the bench in foul trouble.
Man, were those two big triples by a couple Clarkston reserves. It's not Nick Owens, it's not Taven Throgmorton. We're talking about Dayton Wallace and Drew Swanson. Big plays by the Clarkston bench, and this lead is ballooned to 16 points with 5:38. Those 2 3 balls were huge.
Yep, those are the. What?
And we're being asked by some fans to get some
We'll
scores.
we can try and show them our phones here. A little hard to talk in here, but he's asking the Troy Athens score because the winner of this game will play Troy or Troy Athens on Monday.
The other side of the district, one place has been set. We have the Oak Park Knights winning their first district in 6 years, beating Southfield Lathrop, I believe at Lathrop. And that game was a 1 or 2 point ball game. And 5:38 to play here. Clarkson is up by 16 and has the basketball. So Dayton Wallace now to Nick Owens. Nick the quickly gets in there and draws the foul.
Yeah, you gotta like his aggression there, taking it to the basket.
Well, it looks like Country Day has won the district.
No, that's not a shock at all.
The post-Kurt Keener district streak stays intact. Owens misses that first free throw. And hits the second. It's 49-32, and Clarkson beginning to sprint away with this game. And Carson now will put it up.
12-0 run here for Clarkston.
Newblatt can't hold the rebound, so it's going to be Stony Creek basketball.
Actually, I think it's more of a 14-0 run. Since Gilgenbach's jumper, that was the last points for Stony Creek.
And Bloomfield Hills is leading 72-32 going into the fourth. Mertz can't get the call. Ball's out of bounds on Mertz, but it looks like one referee's going to overrule the other.
That looked like a travel anyway, but the referee just called it out of bounds.
St. Mary's is up by 9 going into the fourth quarter.
Troy Athens up 10 on Troy.
Troy Athens looking to make this a repeat district title. Don't see that much from the Athens Redhawks. And Carson gets the ball ripped. It's Drew Myers pulls up for the jump shot, and it nestles in the pretty bounce for the deuce for Drew Myers, and it's a 19-point ball game. And as I said before, Stony Creek is about to hit the canvas. Unfortunately,
They've not scored in this quarter.
They haven't scored a lot since this half. Charlie Carson lets a three, gets the foul on Nick Owens.
And this will be 3 foul shots, so this will get Stony Creek at least off the schneid, but I think the damage has been done.
And I talked to Steve Norgo before the game, and he said the one thing he was worried about was just this, that his team could hit an offensive wall, which would allow Clarkson to open up a lead, and that's exactly what happened here in the second half. But nothing to be ashamed of if you're the Cougars, because you played a very, very good basketball game. A lot of people thought this thing would be over with a lot sooner than it was. And hey, it's 18 points, 4.5 to play. Anything could happen, but looking more and more like this is going to be a Clarkston W. So Charlie Carson hits, and it's 51-34.
That ends a 14-0 run for Clarkston to start this quarter, and I think 16-0 overall.
Drew Myers now gets in the lane, and he gets blocked by Mertz. And again, one ref's gonna overrule the other.
Clearly out on Stony Creek. I don't know how the official ruled it was out on Clarkston. Myers went up, got the shot blocked, and the ball went out of bounds.
So these Clarkston fans came in their fatigues. They were ready for war. And the Clarkston Wolves, their basketball team, answered a similar call. Came out.
Clarkston went that quick. Sorry to interrupt you. They should
right.
just move the ball around to use some clock. They went rather quickly on that possession.
The Wolves have come back with a battle-tested spirit and a singular mission.
Here they are. Now they're moving it around, just kind of killing clock. This is what I was expecting them to do.
And that singular mission is get back to the regionals, get back to that rightful place with Clarkston basketball, because really it's just not the same if Clarkston's not playing in the second week of the state tournament. And a foul against Drew Myers, or excuse me, on a Stony Creek player against Drew Myers. And really Dan Fife and this Clarkston basketball team, the pride of Oakland County, one of the most consistent, well-run programs in the whole state, just wins with a lot of different kinds of kids that you know what you're going to get from them, kind of kids that play the right way. They play Clarkston basketball, and Dan Fife, there's no better teacher, because Dan Fife, he's Clarkston's favorite son, three sports superstar there as a high schooler, learned from Johnny Orr at Michigan, 3-year starter for the Wolverines, played Major League Baseball, and then returned to his hometown. Allen can't hit it. Rebound by Newblatt, who again has just played a very good game in place of.
Yeah, rebounding has been the story.
Mike Nicholson
has dominated the boards.
But Coach Fife recently got his 600th victory. Puts him in some very rarefied air. And like I said, he's learned from some really good teachers. He's on the bench in that 76 NCAA championship finalist team for the Wolverines in 76. Drew Myers now will dish to Newblatt, back
Smart
to Wallace.
Basketball. The clock is their friend. They don't even need Mike Nicholson. This is what's been impressive, is that all this has come with Nicholson on the bench.
I agree. And Dan's sons. Interestingly, Dan Fife himself never won a district as a player, whether football, basketball, or baseball. But he's won quite a few as a coach. All three of his sons, Jeremy, Dugan, and Dane, have all raised, I believe, multiple trophies.
And fans head into the exits now.
Dane is Tom Izzo's #1 assistant of state these days. Very rich tradition, and we're going to be adding some history right now, hopefully in the next 3 minutes, to the Clarkston Wolves trophy case. They'll be picking up that district trophy. Drew Myers hits. It's 55-34, 2:56 to play. So the Stony Creek girls upset the Clarkston girls. The boys were trying to match that feat, but it just doesn't look like it was in the cards.
Yeah, it just kind of ran out of gas a little bit in this game.
Carson will hit a 3. It's his first field goal in quite a while.
First field goal since that second quarter.
55-37, it's an 18-point game. Drew Myers now dribbling out up on the top of the key. It's pretty much all academic now.
Now Nicholson's back in the game. He's like, hey, you all don't need me. You did fine without me.
Drew Myers going one-on-one with Sinacola. And Sinacola is going to be a name you're going to be hearing about on the Stony Creek Harbor for these next couple years. He'll return along with Scotty Reeder, Jack Allen. Aaron Gilgenbach will be the captain next year. Logan Arnold will also return. So cupboard will not be bare for Coach Norgrove.
Nope.
Merritt Canada's coming in for Drew Swanson.
And even despite the loss, a nice redemptive week for Stony Creek. Entered the year, following a league title in the gold last year, and now with the OA merging to 3 divisions for this year.
A lot of people picked them as the favorite going into the
I thought they
season.
personally were the favorite in the blue going into the season. And disappointing regular season. Finished middle of the pack in the blue. I don't know if it was 3rd or 4th, I can't remember, but Oxford ended up winning it. But come in this week, you beat Rochester, your crosstown rival, and then to avenge 2 regular season losses to the OA Blue champion, Wildcats, Oxford Wildcats. Very and even to give Clarkston a game here for 2-3 quarters. They can look at the highlights of this game afterwards and say, hey, we played with them. We didn't have everyone leaving the stands by halftime. We fought gamely, and I think this would be a good thing going into the next season for Stony Creek to build on.
And it's all in a building process. Stony Creek program's only been around for a decade or so, maybe a little bit more, and you don't build Rome in a day. And the fact that Coach Norgrove has gotten this team to reach the level, to make the strides that they have over the last couple of years, especially considering what he took over, which was a bit of a mess. I believe they were 0-21 his first year. I don't think they won a game.
Yeah.
So to go from that to last year win the OA gold title and then making it to the district finals, those are some pretty special accomplishments.
I agree. Yeah, Gilgenbach's going to be a good player next year.
And Nick Owens now will run out for the easy deuce. Looks like Southfield Christian will be moving on.
Yeah, that's
big
good.
Victory.
That could be a good game on Monday against Waterford Lady of the Lakes.
Franklin Road, 79-34, not even in the 4th quarter yet. And Sinacola will put up a triple, can't hit it, rebound Myers. And as foul on Drew Myers, let's make a quick note that, as KD said, Pershing has been knocked out. Let's say goodbye to someone that used to be an Oakland County staple here in the boys basketball world, Maury Diani. His high school career is over with. Won a state title as a starter last year at Country Day. Moved over to Pershing for his senior year after Kurt Keener left, and will not be getting a Class A state title to go along with that Class B state title. But Maury is a very good kid. Heck of a basketball player. Will be playing at Buffalo next year, so we'll be saying goodbye to him. And now the Clarkston seniors will be taken out to a very rowdy applause. Coach Fife, you can tell, is very happy, giving the seniors a hug. Mike Nicholson, Nick Owens. It's been a long 2 years for the Clarkston Wolves. Upset the last 2 seasons in the districts. First by Fenton on just a miraculous buzzer-beating 3, and then last year by the giant killer Romeo Bulldogs that went through an Oakland County district and took out 3 teams that were favored in front of them. But this year, the Wolves have refound their pride.
Well, they want to go further, though. This is the norm for them, getting district titles. So Wolves want to go further, and going to be an interesting game on Monday with it. Looks like Troy Athens. Troy Athens was up 10 in the 4th quarter over Troy the last time we heard. So everyone's going to be kind of saying, okay, it's easily going to be Clarkston Bloomfield Hills on Wednesday in that regional final.
Make
so
sure
a lot of
neither
people are
team
going to be
looks ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So Bloomfield Hills is going to have Oak Park in the other half of that regional. So just as you said, there's been a lot of talk. So both Clarkston and Bloomfield Hills are going to have a chore to try and get all those distractions out of their head. And Troy Athens is a team that tends to play to its competition.
Yes.
So I think they can come out and play very well in that game against Clarkston.
And Athens is another team that's pretty much all juniors. Won a district last year. Looks like they'll probably win a district this season. And they'll come back with that same group, which will be all seniors next season, no matter how far they go next week if they win this thing tonight. Not exactly certain what they're talking about right now.
Yeah, this
stoppage of play for
where they're going to go hang out after the game. What establishments are there in Lake Orion to go hang out to afterwards?
So it's been a bit of a stoppage here. The ref's talking it over with Coach Fife and Coach Norgrove. You know, I have so much respect for Coach Fife and for someone that's been there for so long and still have the kind of fire that he has, you know, the want and the will to teach the game, not just win games, but to teach it, to make sure his players are as fundamentally sound as possible. He's just he's a great man and a great coach. I would have loved to play for him. Mertz gets the foul down low. Coach Chambers, his top assistant, is one of the better right-hand men on the bench we have in Oakland County.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan 565. We'll see how much he loves what he does. I'm not saying he's about to retire, but we'll see how many more years. We'll see how many more years he's got.
I don't know if in 10 years from now Dan Fife will be on the sideline. So I agree. I think
maybe his window to get that elusive state title is closing.
But had so many of those quarterfinal classics with the likes of Carmen Ainsworth and Saginaw, and finally broke through the quarters back in 09. I mean, sorry, broke through to the Final Four back in 09. That was a special team with Polkley, Staten, and Kamenicki, Tyler Scarlett, whose brother is actually on this Wolf team, comes off the bench, Will Scarlett.
Although I do hear Clarkston's got a freshman coming in next year. It's supposed to be something else.
Very special player that's in 8th grade right now. His name's Foster Lawyer. His dad is the head coach of the Detroit Pistons right now.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on him, see.
And Stony Creek can't get that to fall. Dan, Coach Fife told me this fall, Stony Creek can't hit again. Rebound, Clarkston. Coach Fife told me this fall that Foster Lawyer reminds him of his son Dane when Dane was in 8th grade. Dane went on to be a McDonald's All-American, go to an NCAA championship game, was a captain of the Big Ten, so it's a pretty nice praise for a 14-year-old son, 14-year-old kid. And the score by Clarkston's Mitch Heaton makes it 62-38. Nice basket by Heaton. 3-ball by Stony Creek, number 12.
Ryder. And
Scott
we do have
Reeder.
We do have
Ben Ryder.
We do have a final. Athens has beaten Troy in the other district. So they'll play Clarkston
clock will
on Monday.
run down, and this thing's over with, folks. Clarkston is district champions once again. It won 18 straight, and there were 2 years where Clarkston had to sit home for the regionals. Not this season. They've punched their ticket to the second week of the MHSA boys basketball tournament, broken that rare 2-year drought. And Team Fife, the Wolfpack, will be on to regionals. Very big game for the Wolves. They did it in multiple ways. They did it in the backcourt with Owens and Myers, Swanson, and Wallace. And then they did it with the front court with Newblatt and Mike Nicholson, Merritt Canada. And they moved their record now to 19-4. Stony Creek will close out the season at 15-8. Coach Fife and the Wolfpack will now punch their ticket to play Troy Athens at Lathrop next Monday night in the regional semifinals. We're down to the final 32 teams. 62-41 final MI Prep Zone game of the week. The Clarkston Wolves over the Stony Creek Cougars. Class A district final action. You can watch this game on miprepzone.com/Oakland in the near future, anytime in the coming minutes. And then you can also catch this game on Comcast CN 900 over the next couple weeks. Several different times we'll be playing on your Comcast cable network. So we're going to have the district medals given out right now. Alex Trim is the first one to come out for Clarkston. McCarty, their team manager, comes and gets one. Now it's Josh Bonsheim. Just Press Campy getting that first district. Excuse me, I tell you, this is his second district trophy. He won one as a freshman while he was at Rochester Adams, played on that Highlanders group from 2011, I believe. And but for the rest of this Clarkston team, I believe this is the first district trophy. Nick Owens might have been coming off the bench back in that 2011 team. So we're going to wrap it up here from the Dragon Den. MI Prep Zone Comcast 900 Game of the Week. The Clarkston Wolves are on to the regionals with a 62-41 victory over the Stony Creek Cougars. Thanks to SoundQ and Comcast, MI Prep Zone /Oakland. We'll see you in regionals, folks. Clarkston 62, Stony Creek 41.
Hello, everyone. Keith Dunlap, Scott Bernstein here at Lake Orion High School, where Clarkston has just wrapped up the 62-41 win over Stony Creek in a Class A district final. The Wolves advanced to the regionals. They're going to take on Troy Athens on Monday at Southfield Lathrop. We'll talk about that game a little bit here in a moment. But as far as this one's concerned, Scott, give credit to Stony Creek. Really hung around for the first 3 quarters, really. But then just things kind of got out of hand in the fourth quarter. Clarkston exerted its will. The dam kind of burst, so to speak, in that fourth quarter. Wolves went on a big 16-0 run. The span ended the third quarter and most of the fourth quarter, and that just seemed to end the game.
Yeah, you know, they were able to overcome their lack of, the margin on the glass where they were losing significantly in the first half. They were able to overcome that by hitting their free throws, hitting their threes, getting in the lane and causing some damage. But second half came. Offensively, they hit a wall. As you said, the dam burst for Clarkston. They raced out to that. It was like a 5-point lead. All of a sudden, a 16-0 run makes it a 20-point lead. And unfortunately, some teams might have the firepower to come back from a 17, 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's just not Stony Creek's strong suit. And you got to put close the curtain on this season. But again, this is what you said, nothing to be ashamed of. Coach Norgrove is building this program. It's baby steps. A couple years ago, they didn't win a game. Last year, they won the league title. This year, knocking on the door at halftime of the district finals. So, I'm sure that there are brighter future in the horizon for Stony Creek.
Very good redemption week for Stony Creek following a disappointing regular season by their standards.